The next tab we're going to look at, the fourth tab down, is the fill effects. The fill effects actually goes much more than that. Fill effects is part of properties. What the fill effects would be used for is if you have an object and you want to change some of the qualities of that object. Let's take a say we want to make this rectangle blue, maybe transparent. Whatever we want to do, we can do. Now, you saw over here, we clicked there and we saw this. We can work from here by going in and clicking on solid, changing transparency if we wish to. We can give it a gradient. We can give it a pattern instead. Or we can put images inside of it. The first thing we're going to look in depth at right now is the solid fill. The solid fill allows you to make all objects have a solid color. One of the really neat things about it is it allows you to create images with it. If you were working in an elementary setting, you could go through and use these to create the basic shapes that your students would need to learn. You can also create activities using these for the students. One thing about working with these is you don't always have to go back to this tab to do everything. As I've shown before, you can either click on the drop down or you can just right click on it and you can go to properties and you'll see you get the same thing. So with this triangle, let's do something a little different. Instead of doing a solid fill, let's give it a gradient. And let's change what direction the gradient comes from. We're going to do a forward backward diagonal. And we're going to make it slightly transparent. The nice thing about transparency, it allows you to see things that are on the other side, so you can use these to create different tools for students to use at the smartboard. You may have an activity where you want them to be tracking along with reading, and they can be moving a rectangle or a square or whatever shape you decide to use across the reading activity. You can use it to hide certain things and on a click have it change. Because there's another part with these, there are animations, and I will show you those with this. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, coming back with this and properties, you also see that you have line style. What line style you see that you also have a line style. What line style allows the user to do is to come over on the object and change what type of line they have. You can also change the line color. You can change the thickness of the line. You can even change the style line. Go back and a dashed line, or you can also do dotted lines. You can do several different types of lines. Okay. Also with this, you can go in and you can change the background from just that plain white. All you have to do is shade screen, or excuse me, not shade screen, but set background fill. Works the same way. You could also have done it just by coming over here, clicking on that, getting that, and choosing a color. And that's all there really is to anything about the colors. Now, there's one thing that's really neat that you can do, and that is to create animations on objects that you have near. It can be any of your shapes. It can be an object from your gallery. Let's see, I'll get something from the gallery. I'm just going to look at the pictures. I'm going to type in dog. That gets a quick hit. And there we go. We can make the dog do different things with the animations. They're simple animations, but if used effectively, they can add to a lesson, especially for a hands-on lesson with younger students. Object animation. We have to choose a type. I'm going to take and have the dog shrink and grow. Move him down here just a little bit because he'll get too big for the screen. Okay, come back. We want to Grow in what direction? We're going to grow first and then shrink. So we'll just leave this as is. Speed, we want normal. We want to do it when clicked, and let's say it repeats twice. Now you might say, why would I use that animation? Well, if you're creating an activity for students, you might have, if they click on this answer, where the answer gets large and small, large and small. You can do a lot of different things. There was one thing I just realized I forgot to cover with you on this, so let's go ahead and back up real quick and get that. We are going to look at putting an image in. I mentioned it, but I did not show you how. So let's go ahead and show you how. If you want to create a picture within a object that you want to use as a piece in a presentation or as a learning activity, right click, properties, image fill. When you browse out, it's going to look for the pictures on your computer. So let's browse out. I'll go to my pictures. If it goes somewhere that you don't want to go, remember you can always use this for navigation. You can click here and then choose where you want to be. Okay, we'll scroll down real fast. Stick an apple in there. Alright, you can see that the apple is too big to show completely. What you can do at this point is scale image to fit, and it will scale it to fit. What it does is actually compacts it. It doesn't change the dimensions of it. So you have to watch what you're adding in there. You may have one picture that's too big, and even doing that might not work. So you would have to resize the picture outside of this. Or another way that you could do an insert, it wouldn't be a true insert like this, would be to take an image, shrink it down to fit the size that you want, put it on top of this, and then group those two together. This is just a little bit quicker than doing that. Okay, now that we've covered all the different parts of this, the next thing we are going to look at is the add-ons, which will be the last tab.